Lifeweaver is the worst support hero in the game, is he? And also, he's the least impactful hero that we've got. Okay, let's break all of this down because Aaron Keller says that they are looking at a potential Lifeweaver ability rework, and he actually highlights what they're looking at doing in terms of where they want to add extra power to the hero. But this won't be coming until Season 5. So, before we get stuck into this, I just want to throw out some random thoughts on Lifeweaver because I've been playing a bunch of this hero, and I think he is fun to play in various moments in the game. You can feel like, wow, I'm doing a lot. I've got my petal platform down. I've used it to push myself into the air, which, by the way, seems to be the most effective thing. Literally use it in every fight, and then as you're up in the air, you're just throwing down your healing. You can do a surprising amount of healing as Lifeweaver. The problem is the way the healing is applied, right? So you're having to charge up, which I think is such a clunky, terrible mechanic, and then throw a fairly slow-moving projectile, which will heal the target for 65. Now, there is a trade-off here, right? It is extremely easy to use. You can throw this at range into targets, and yeah, you know, you will do good healing. But if you compare this to a Batiste, or even, I guess, Anna would be the better example here, long-range healing, Anna's basically got unlimited range if she's got line of sight. Her heal, when she's using the scope, is a hit scan, so it's instant. You know, you fire it, it hits the target, and it heals them. And it also heals the target for more as well. And, of course, you can do damage with it. So it's seamless transition, whereas Lifeweaver doesn't have that. And if you want to talk about damage, look at Batiste and then look at Lifeweaver. Batiste can go from healing to damage, and it feels great, feels good, and the damage feels meaningful. Lifeweaver, if you're doing damage, you're not healing because you're not charging your heal. So you're basically throwing the game. The only time you should be doing damage with Lifeweaver is if it is literally a one-on-one scenario and you can't see anybody to heal. If you're going for damage, you're just wasting your time. You're a heal bot. Now, that's another problem because do we really want characters in the game that are just pumping healing into targets and that's all they're doing? I thought Overwatch 2 was moving into the realms of support becoming actually support and not just about, yes, I'm a heal bot. I'm also here to provide ways to manipulate the battlefield, ways to empower my teammates and other kinds of things. And crucially, also do damage in the fights as well. Because you'll notice good supports tend to have decent damage along with their healing. Lifeweaver, though, it's impossible to do this. You will just heal, and then you'll do the odd bit of damage. And it's quite stark how little damage that you actually do in any given game. So that's my thoughts on Lifeweaver. It can feel fun, and you guys can see in the gameplay footage here in the background, there are moments where it's fun. There's moments where, yeah, you can use Lifeweaver's platform to pull your team out of a Graviton Surge. You can use it to save yourself in clutch situations. You know, so there are little bits of play. The pull, obviously, as well, yeah, can be used at the right time and can have an impact on the game. But also, it can be really frustrating for people to be pulled. I mean, in fact, I was in a game earlier today. It was on Rialto, and I was playing with a Zarya, and I was pulling the Zarya, and I think I was making good pulls, and the Zarya was moaning at me over the microphone, and I thought, oh, okay. So I typed in the chat, I'm sorry, thinking they obviously didn't want to be pulled then, but I kind of thought they did, to which they just said, no, the pulls were good, but it just feels horrible when I get pulled. See what I mean? It's strange. So I just think what they've done with Lifeweaver is to try to make a hero that is can manipulate the battlefield and can do certain things, but I just don't think it's worked. So let's take a look at what Aaron says after my pretty long intro there to the video. But they are kind of my raw thoughts on the hero now after having played him and played this newer version with the reworked control scheme as well. He's just lacking Lifeweaver, isn't it? It's really kind of sad. Director's Take, a continued look at Lifeweaver. Last Director's Take, we talked about the state of Lifeweaver and the changes that we're making to the hero in order to strengthen him. They had a positive effect, but didn't do nearly as much as we had hoped. We're going to continue that topic again this week. I'd like to look at what some of those changes accomplished. What we think he's missing, and some possible solutions we're looking at for the hero. Over the last few weeks, we've made a number of buffs, tweaks, and modifications to Lifeweaver. In short, we modified his control scheme, making it more fluid and intuitive, and we buffed him across several different categories. We upped his healing ammo capacity, tightened the spread on his weapon, and buffed his ult. We saw a lift in his win rate across the game. At the lowest skill tiers, it was hovering at around 45%, but quickly dropped off at higher skill ratings. And I think we'll just drop on that for a second, because the idea that it drops off at higher skill ratings just does show you that there isn't really much skill expression with Lifeweaver. And the moments where you can sort of pull that clutch platform off or that clutch pull, they're so infrequent that it's not really enough to affect the flow of a game. You know, if you think of Anna can have moments where suddenly, like, it's bang, 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 awesome healing, bang, sleep dart, great grenade. Like, that can, you know, this is happening all the time in a fight. Okay, I know she doesn't have grenade available and sleep available all the time, but she can direct her healing. She can then go for damage, and it's meaningful damage, you know, and it's meaningful healing. There's a lot Anna can do, and Anna can win fight after fight after fight if Anna's played well. Lifeweaver, though, can't really do that. It's almost like with Lifeweaver, you're just slowing the inevitable tide. If you are losing a game, and yeah, you are pulling, you know, at the right time, you're using the platform at the right time, your healing's great and whatever, you don't really have enough to make the plays, right? You can't affect the game and change the way what the outcome's going to be. Basically, you're not a carry support. That, I think, is the problem. I think that's what I'm getting at here. You really suffer when it comes to just looking for plays. And again, this was one of the mantras that was supposed to be part of Overwatch 2's design. Now, I'm not sure whether these things have changed, because we have to remember people like Jeff Goodman, who was the lead hero designer, has left Blizzard, and I don't know how much he was involved in this hero, and you know, in terms of philosophy and things like that. And a bunch of other people have been leaving Blizzard as well. A lot of things which kind of go unnoticed, and there's not really much fuss made, but it's like people who are integral to the game. I mean, most recently, the art director left, and well, they had a art director leave quite recently before that as well. So the art director that was involved with the Remarks reveal is no longer at Blizzard, and there's a whole list of people that have left Blizzard recently. Yeah, I don't know whether this is just a change in direction for the game, but yeah, you just can't really carry. And I think they were looking at making every new hero have some sort of pop-off moment. Moira was always the one. They were trying to find this moment to make Moira feel like she's made this awesome play, instead of just, you know, doing Moira things. But I think Lifeweaver suffers from that even more. The effects we thought these changes would have were difficult to work through, since they coincided with the modifications to his control scheme. It's a little easier to estimate the sort of effect that a number change will have on a hero's performance, but estimating the power that comes from a more fluid control scheme is harder to do. We weren't sure how much it would change the hero's win rate, but we think we have a great base to build off. Let's look at what some of those changes resulted in. I think I just want to drop on this here, this idea of changing the hero to have a more fluid control scheme. I would like, if I was involved with the design of the game, it would be one of the main things, the way the hero feels and the way the hero is controlled. You have to get that right. Launching a hero that is clunky it's literally a cardinal sin. So honestly, I'm not really sure what happened with the development of this hero, and why it actually got to the point of being launched in the state that it did. We increased the ammo capacity on his healing to provide higher throughput and increase the amount of healing that his ult does. This worked. He has one of the highest healing outputs in the game, including the highest at some skill tiers. This aligns with our vision for the hero, and we're happy with where he's at. We also tightened the spread on his weapon, but this only marginally raised his kills and eliminations. You have to squint to see the changes in our charts. Along with these stats, another piece of the puzzle is that Lifeweaver has one of the lowest, if not the lowest, death rate for supported heroes in the game, or for support heroes, I should say, in the game. This might seem like it runs counter to some of the commentary online that his hitbox is too big, but he is still taking a consistent amount of damage in the middle to upper range of other supports. Now, yeah, I think there has been a lot of commentary online there's been a lot of viral, like, I guess you can call them viral in the Overwatch world, of like little GIFs and little videos on Twitter and stuff on TikTok and things like that, showing the hitbox of the hero being massive for a support. And it is, because you can shoot the petals on his back. I mean, I've even said, what the hell, this is a big hitbox. I think even in my original video looking at the hero from the test server, it was like, look at the hitbox, it's massive. And it is. But yeah, Aaron is saying, like, this doesn't really have much of an effect on the hero being killed all of the time. So yeah, maybe that's just sort of blown out of proportion. He then goes to kind of wrap this up, and this is what I really like about these dev communications, because they're awesome. And, you know, this is the game director, and this is like a lot of transparency with them talking about what worked and what didn't work. And he says this: so we have a support hero that has one of the highest healing rates and one of the lowest death rates in the game. That should be good, right? Overwatch is more than the raw numbers that gets assigned to a hero's weapons and abilities. Players need a reason to pick one hero over another. For Lifeweaver, those reasons are supposed to be his utility abilities, life grip and petal platform. both can be game-changing abilities, but they're also inconsistent. When they work right, they can change the state of a fight, but many times they are waiting to be used or just not being used well, either by Lifeweaver or his team. So obviously this is like a bit of a call out to maybe the cooldowns need changing a little bit for these abilities, or you just don't have them available when you need to have them available, and they're thus having less impact. You may use Life Grip and it might be awesome, but then you might actually need to use it again straight away, and that's where your value would be, but you don't have it available. So then all you can do is do a crappy little charge heal, which takes ages to charge up, and then so your target ends up dying. I think a lot of that goes on with Lifeweaver, but I think that's a really interesting paragraph there that I've just read off, because the idea that you need an idea or reason to play a hero, and you do, right? You're not going to play a hero if the hero isn't worth playing, and I think that's the problem with Lifeweaver. He just doesn't feel worth playing compared to every other support in the game. So what about future changes? Okay, this is where he sort of touches on what they're looking at in terms of ability rework. When it comes to future changes for Lifeweaver, here's what we are thinking. We want it to be clearer why players may select Lifeweaver over other heroes. If your current hero pick isn't working for some reason, whether it be the map or enemy team comp, what's a strong incentive for swapping to Lifeweaver? We may make other changes along the way, such as lightly buffing his Thorn Volley and reducing hit volumes, but ultimately we will have changes targeted at further pronouncing Lifeweaver's strengths and clearly defining his role on your team. This could be leaning harder into his healing effectiveness through a new passive, or bringing additional benefits to some of his utility-focused abilities. With a defensive-based hero, we have to be careful how far we go in terms of buffing raw healing and defensive abilities. Too far can negatively disrupt the overall flow of an engagement. These are some of the early things we're iterating through. Hope to have our next set of changes ready for Season 5. With these changes, it is our hope that Lifeweaver will rise to his proper place among the heroes in Overwatch 2. Looking forward, the next director's take will be on a different subject, something a little more future-facing. PvE, hopefully. Or at least what they're going to do at BlizzCon, or something like that would be cool. Anyway, Lifeweaver. So, I mean, listen, what do I even say in conclusion to this? I just think Blizzard have nailed the design of Lifeweaver. His visual design, his voice lines, everything about the character is great. But the actual way the character plays, it's very limp, isn't it? And this has been the case for a lot of the heroes, well, basically all the heroes, really, that have come out for Overwatch 2. I guess with the exception of Junker Queen, although you have to remember the state of Junker Queen's launch was when only the Overwatch League players had access to the hero. So she wasn't like the general player base, the public couldn't even play the game. So they realized she was OP, she was being used a lot in Overwatch League, so she got nerfed before the launch of her into Overwatch 2 proper, when everybody got access to the game. But if we look at Ramatra, he launched very weak and then had to be buffed. If we look at Lifeweaver, he launched in a very weak state. He's probably up there for one of the weakest hero launches ever, really. Although, if we start going back into the history of Overwatch hero launches, well, let me give you a lesson. Anybody remember when D.Va launched into the game? She had Defense Matrix on a massive long cooldown, although it was for, you could use it for a long time, but the cooldown was massive. She had a much higher movement penalty when firing a weapon. She didn't even have micro missiles. Her ultimate would kill her as well. So when we talk about weak heroes, you got to just do it within, I guess, context of the time frame that we're in. And right now, Lifeweaver, he's been the weakest of the Overwatch 2 heroes. I think that's the easiest way to put it. Like, obviously, Kiriko versus Lifeweaver, they're in a completely different world. Like, Kiriko is a lot more effective than Lifeweaver is at the moment. That's not to say things might change, because I'm sure Blizzard don't want this new hero feeling like a limp hero and a boring hero, and then they just kind of forget about the hero, because a lot of work goes into making these heroes. So, hopefully they can find a place to make him more impactful, give him that sort of added punch, give him that extra sort of gusto to his play style that will make you feel good when you're playing the hero and feel like you're having an impact beyond, well, I've just life gripped somebody out of a bad position. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening and watching the video. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. And I guess, we're just kind of settling in now and waiting for what I presume will be the next balance patch. We'll be getting towards, I guess, mid-season balance patches, and hopefully get some sort of PvE update at some point. Okay, all right, guys. I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. See you soon.